and she's working on a memoir right now. But to see where, I have to admit when I watched the movie Thin, and I've actually talked with Shelley about this, about how I feel like sometimes treatment programs kind of revert people back to like a dependent teenager mentality because of the way they treat people, and I believe that's what happened a lot in this movie. But I have to admit that it is one of the things that kept me from ever wanting to go into inpatient treatment, just because I saw the interactions in that whole movie, and it was like, freaked me out actually. But then to see, to actually have met her and talked to her quite a bit, and see where she's come with her life, and see that she still has struggles in her life, but that she's at a pretty good place in recovery with her eating disorder, and even though she may struggle with some eating disorder thoughts, she is really committed to recovery at this point in her life, and has made amazing progress, in my opinion, and especially taking into consideration the drug addictions on top of that, because that just, I know there's a lot of people who watch this channel, a lot of people out there who, this is going to be 2 videos now, so I'm just going to go on, because, I don't know, this is, I guess, an important topic to me, is finding inspiring people in recovery. So I'm going to go on and, I'm going to talk about a few more people actually, but I'm going to talk about Shelley for a minute, because I asked her permission today to talk about her, and she gave me permission. So, one of the things that she talks about that she struggles with now is agoraphobia, and I've kind of watched and learned from her, and I've never suffered of it for myself, but I can definitely see and empathize with those kind of struggles, and realizing that a lot of us, I have my own anxiety issues and own ADHD and organizational issues sometimes, well, a lot of times, but I'm pretty good at managing it, but even I get overwhelmed and have some anxiety issues, and not everybody always sees that or knows about it, because I don't always present that as openly as I do other things. So, so to me that's an inspiration to see how many different addictions and things that she in her life has had to struggle and overcome, and the things that she is doing now to overcome it, and working very hard with a lot of different treatments. But the inspiring part to me is, it's not about how bad you've had it, or who's had the worst addictions, or who's had the worst eating disorder. That's not what it's about. It's about, are you willing to stay on course and do what it takes, even when it gets discouraging and frustrating and you want to quit? Are you willing to stay on course and keep plugging along? And when you are the person struggling with yourself, it's hard for you, I think, to see the progress. So I'm sure for her that it's hard for her to always see the progress she's making, but when you're an outside person and you can see the big picture, and you can, kind of follow the blog and follow the thoughts and the timeline, then you can see progress in other people, and it's easier to see in other people sometimes than your own self, until you get far enough along that you excuse me, that you can really sit down and maybe even draw a time or talk to somebody, and when you can talk it out and say, hey, I actually have made quite a bit of progress, but it doesn't feel like it because it's been so slow. And that's the key, is inspiring people, and inspiration, people who are inspiring, they don't usually just suddenly become this superstar overnight, because people who become superstars overnight, generally they're, in my opinion, I know that there's probably some who really are great, but a lot of people who have overnight fame are fake, or become fake. And why is that? Well, it's because they haven't had the time to build a foundation. Okay, so in recovery, when you're becoming an inspiration, or you're looking up to people who are inspiring to you, who really are true to themselves, it's usually because they've taken the time to build a foundation. It's not because they have no struggles, but it's because they've taken the time to develop new habits and coping skills, and to slow down enough to not react to everything every time anybody says anything or they have a bad day. So that's why I brought Shelley's blog up, because I think you should all go look at it, and and I hope that she's able to get her memoir out soon. I know she will. I know it's a process, and it'll happen when the, I guess, stars line, however you want to interpret that. I think things happen in time and kind of have a synergistic effect when we kind of allow things to open up. And that's what I'm doing in my own life. I'm allowing myself to evolve and develop, and I'm developing right now a treatment program that with another therapist. I'm in school myself right now, but I'm developing a treatment program, and I may talk more about specifics as we get closer to opening it up, but we're hoping to open some things up this fall. But the basic model will be that it is a combination of treatment with life coaching or life empowerment, because I really believe that empowerment and the ability to have people trust in you and allow you to make mistakes is what builds confidence. And that, I believe, is what, when I look at people who are inspiring to me, it's people who see who I am, see all the mistakes I make, and still have confidence in me and allow me to learn and grow through my mistakes and develop. So that is what my therapist did for me. That is what this friend of mine did for me. And I see a lot of the same beliefs and traits in Shelley, who I brought up. And and I believe that Davey, he's one person who I've talked to, and we've not like a ton of email conversations with him, but we've talked a little bit about running, and he's an encouraging person. And when you read his blog, he doesn't present himself as some special case. He says, I'm a normal person, I'm a normal guy, and here's how I've done it, and you can do it too. And that's what inspiring people do, I think, is that they are normal people who have done a lot of extraordinary things, and it's because they have never given up, because they've built the foundation, and because they don't limit themselves. And so I know there's people who are inspired by my ultra running and think that I'm superhuman or crazy, or whatever, or some people who think I'm just insane, period, and that's stupid. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, I'm not superhuman. I don't have any special athletic ability. I just have not limited myself, and I've actually used that mindset of having to be positive and believe in myself to help me recover, because in order to complete races, in order to get past the mental tiredness that comes in some of those races where you think you can't do it, but you just won't let yourself quit, that is what it takes, and that is what is an inspiration to myself. The things that I do that are an inspiration to myself, and that you can do too, and that others can do. So, it doesn't have to all be around sports. There's definitely many other people. Justine Brill, who is the founder of Speak at the University of Utah, a professor I work with, and I spoke on a panel with her, how I met her through a lecture series back in September, and got involved with the Speak program, and she's one that has done tons of research on eating disorders and diverse populations, and recovered from an eating disorder herself, and has gone on to do great things with her life. And there's just a lot of other people like that who have done great things. So what I'm going to do is, I'm running out of time and I don't want to make a third video, so I'm going to post some links, and this is now 2 videos, to different blogs of people that I think are inspiring to me, and I encourage you to find people that are inspiring to you. So have a good